Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back to Social Sanity, or
I'm,
lack thereof.
I'm Ashley,
I'm Christy.
and we are Social Sanity. Um, so today, we want to give fair warning. We'll be discussing a documentary that we watched on Netflix. It's called A Life Too Short, the Isabel Nardoni case. It does involve violence against a child. So if that is not something you would like to digest today, join us on our next episode and we'll be glad to see you there. And
Yes.
also, we want to say if you want to chime in the comments or anything like that on your opinions, if you've watched this documentary, we're going to talk about ours. And if you have feelings or thoughts on it, feel free to chime in because I know, like, apparently in Brazil at the time, this was a very like inflammatory case. So,
Yes.
having said that, um, yeah, I have feelings. I have feelings. I have thoughts.
Yes, for sure. And like she said, these are our opinions.
Mhm.
There's no right or wrong opinion. So,
Mhm. Right. We don't have the full facts. We can't give a ruling. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not any type of person, legal, official, law enforcement, whatever. I'm just a person
yes.
with opinions, and opinions are like assholes. So,
Yes. Everybody got one in case y'all didn't know that.
so I watched it to the end. I watched it all the
I,
way.
however, did not.
Yeah. Yeah.
I made it somewhat into it. I just couldn't. I was overwhelmed. Ashley and I talked about it last night. I was like, yo, I'm getting overwhelmed because they're over here talking in the background in a different language, and then they got translators on top of it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is too much. I just can't.
It was.
But I did make it quite a bit through,
Mhm.
and Ashley will be able to fill in those blanks that I might miss.
Yeah. So yeah, like you said, it was kind of a lot to digest in general. And then there was the whole translation and dub like overlay. Like usually, like maybe this is something Netflix does, or maybe they couldn't get the sound to bite out or something. But like they were speaking their native language and it was dubbed, but there was, you
Yeah.
could both. And I'm like, so when
Yes.
I'm trying to listen in Spanish, and I'm like, girl, you don't know that much Spanish. Stop. That's um, so, and I did
Dead.
have to take a break uh in the middle, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna come back to this. I'm gonna do something else now. But yeah, like coming from a person who has co-parented with someone that they're not with long like any longer, greatest fear.
Hmm.
This is literally my greatest fear. Like I would send my child to their other parents'
Yeah.
house and something would happen. And I'm like
Yeah.
I almost got into a physical confrontation once because there was some lack of communication, and I'm like rinsing them off this parking lot with this big bitch. So yeah, but yeah, like in my opinion, this was kind of a solve it quick
Hmm.
and don't talk about it in depth.
Yeah.
Like also I was getting vibes from like the forensic team like that they
Hmm.
had on the documentary. Like I was like, did you have some ulterior motives here, ma'am? Because what?
Girl. So it's like, okay, so for y'all that are like not familiar with the Isabella Nardoni case, so she was like Ashley was mentioning, her parents were co-parenting. They weren't together very long. They did have her very young. They were teenagers, or at least the mom was. I don't remember what the dad was.
I don't
Uh,
think so, but I know she was like 16.
yeah, yeah, she was pretty young, and they were co-parenting. And apparently, the dad had married, so the little girl had a stepmom. The little girl was like what, 5 or 6? Wasn't
She
that
was
right?
5.
She was 5, okay.
Mhm.
So, she was at her dad's and stepmom's apartment that weekend because he was getting them, or he was getting her on the weekends from what I remember. Was that right? Is that what you caught too? Okay. Just making sure I had it right.
Yeah,
Because like
no,
you said,
that was
I had
my
a lot going on
understanding
at the same time
too.
I was
Yeah, like on the like apparent like maybe it was like a regular thing, like they had her
Mhm.
like part of the time or something, like on the weekend.
Yeah.
I I in my brain I was like, oh yeah, he gets her every weekend. That makes
Yeah, that's like a standard, for dads
mhm,
mostly, or at least for unmarried parents.
mhm,
That's usually what it is.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, she was with them. They lived on the sixth story of the apartments that they lived in. Those windows had safety nets on them. They were like metal screens, and it
A
was
net.
metal, correct?
It was like an actual rope net.
Was it? It looked metal. I totally thought it was metal.
Mm-mm. It's a rope net.
Wow. Yeah, I thought it was metal, and I could not wrap my head around it because I was like, okay, so the little girl apparently was thrown, I'm sorry, allegedly was thrown
Mhm,
from the balcony or from the window. That's what it was. And
mhm,
someone, all of these eyewitnesses that were around, or like the neighbors or whatever, they said that they had heard like some arguing going on, that it
mhm.
wasn't very long. It lasted 15 to 20 minutes. I'm sorry, but what argument is short 15 to 20? I feel like that's a long ass argument.
Oh no,
I can't.
I've had some doozies before. Well, it's technically not an argument because I'm doing all the talking, but like
Arguing with women be like,
right, the full blown discussion with feeling and intent. But like, I don't know, like
mhm,
that's continue with the explanation, but like that's another point that I have. Like,
mhm. Well, I feel like a quick one to me would be like a couple minutes, like, you just smart off to each other or something and
mhm,
it's done. Like those are usually how my arguments go, unless it's like escalated because it's a bunch of shit I've got built up that I haven't been saying to you, and then
mhm,
I'm about to pop off. So it's like, oh, ghetto Christie up in this house because let's go. And that's when it'll be like a 20-minute argument, maybe longer. I
right.
don't know. It might end with dismemberment. I don't be knowing. But anyway, okay, so yeah, the neighbors that said that they heard like arguing or whatever, they said it was a quick argument, then it was just silent after that. And
Mhm.
then all of a sudden the little girl is thrown from the window. And who was it that said that they thought she was thrown from the balcony? Like somebody said that, I don't remember if, I feel like it was the dad said that he thought somebody told him that she was thrown from the balcony or something, or
Yeah, like one of the neighbors had like gone down there and
Mhm,
was like looking, and he was like, she was thrown from the balcony, and I'm like, what balcony?
right.
Like the
Yeah,
balcony? I mean, I know, I remember there being a
there
balcony,
might have been,
but
but
what it wasn't like the balcony was over here, and then like the window was like to the
yeah,
right.
wasn't it right next? Yeah, it was to the right. Yep.
Mhm,
You're right. So they were saying that like the safety ropes that were on the
mhm,
outside of the window were cut,
mhm,
but they were speculating for whatever reason that an intruder had done it, although they had no evidence there was an intrusion. But yet one
mhm,
of the forensic people, was it not the forensic, or maybe it was a detective, I don't know, but they said they saw blood drops at the door, at the beginning of the door. And I'm like, I'm sitting here in my head thinking, and I don't know if this came to fruition later
mhm,
in it where I missed it,
mhm.
but in my head I'm like, okay, but was it wet blood? Was it dry blood? Because they never elaborated when they were talking about it when I was watching it. And I'm thinking, if that's dry blood, there's no fucking telling when that shit happened. And let
Right.
me tell you something. If you took a black light and went in my house, there ain't no
Girl,
damn telling how much blood you see
girl.
everywhere.
There's probably
Girl, I
blood
got
all
two
over the
kids that got
floor.
nosebleeds. Come on.
Same. I have nosebleeds. Like stepping on glass. I have a
Yes,
like
literally.
there's blood. I'm sure there's blood everywhere in my house. Like I'm
Yeah. Like it ain't gonna look like a murder scene, but like you
yeah.
gonna find splashes everywhere, like
Mhm.
some, in random fucking places.
Oh,
And then you got to
absolutely.
figure out, how did that get there? I
Yeah, I'm
mean,
pretty sure every sink in my house has blood. Like I mean, like I'm
at some point, blood has crossed it.
yes, because I have nosebleeds and so does Trenton. So
Mm. Mm-mm. Well, Nick has them, and he got the very well. It wasn't the last one, but it was like the second or third to last one.
Mhm.
That one was a doozy. I've never seen him bleed that much, and girl, he had clots coming out of his nose. I
Oh,
was
that's always the
concerned.
worst.
Yeah, girl, he was like this, and he like holding it,
Mhm.
and I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god!" I was
Yeah.
freaking the fuck out, and I'm like, "I think I need to take you to the ER because he that was the longest he ever bled too." And
Mhm.
he was like, "Oh my," he's like, I got a little woozy there for a minute," and I was like, "Oh shit!" So I
Mhm.
thought he was about to like literally pass out on me, like he lost that much blood. But he was like, he just kept insisting he was fine. He was like, "Mom, stop!" Like, I'm always the worry wart. Thank God he ain't got anxiety because good
Right?
God, we can't handle two anxiety-ridden people in this
Mm-mm.
motherfucking house.
Mm-mm. That's doing too much.
No, that's too much. Anyway, so the detective or whoever that was mentioned that those blood drops were at the door, and they were like,
Mhm.
so she was definitely hurt outside of the home and brought in before
Mhm.
she was tossed over the out of the window or whatever. That an intruder supposedly cut the ropes. What intruder? First of all, what intruder come up in there with motherfucking scissors? You ain't gonna come up in there with scissors and be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna cut them rope." Like you don't even know what you're doing. If you're an intruder, you likely don't even know the layout of where you're at. You don't know this, specific things about where they live and whatever. Like you just hitting it up like last second type thing. You know what I mean? Unless you're like home alone and you just be like, in your little okay plumbers van and sitting out front watching these motherfuckers.
Right.
I mean, that's a possibility,
I
but like
mean, yeah.
I thought that the rope was metal, and you had to elaborate to me that no, it was actually like rope. I thought it was like a safety like metal, like kind of like the way they have like in certain areas, like like where the projects are, they'll have
Mhm.
like iron bars and stuff like over windows and whatever. Like I
Yeah.
figured it was something like that.
Mm-mm.
That's what I thought. See,
Nope.
ain't
It's
no
a
intruder gonna know that. Yeah, see,
no.
ain't no intruder gonna know that because
Mhm.
they might think it's metal too. But yeah, it just
Mm.
didn't make any sense. And I don't know because Ashley will have to tell me if they actually solved it or not. But we'll get to that in a minute. I was speculating about the stepmom just because that
Mhm.
ain't her kid, and stepmoms be evil, as per Cinderella. I'm just saying. I'm a stepmom, but I ain't
I
that
wouldn't call
evil.
you evil.
Yeah,
You're not evil.
I'm a, I'm just like a little evil, but I'm not evil evil.
Mm-mm. No, 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 no.
But yeah,
Mhm.
so I was thinking like obviously we know the mom had nothing absolutely to do with it
Mhm.
because the last time she had seen her kid was alive. Kid was
Right.
brought to the dad's. Obviously she had nothing to do with it.
Mhm.
Um and then they were talking about like the dad and they were like the dad like they were like, "Well, I don't think the dad would do this. Like he loved his daughter." And I
Mhm.
got to thinking about it and I'm like, "Man, like I would hope he didn't, you know, because it didn't seem like he was that type of person, but obviously people can put on a show. And
Yeah.
you obviously don't know like how dark someone can be until something like this happens, you know? It
Mhm.
happens. It does. Um, just throwing this out there, like the Alec Murdoch case, I mean, he totally you in the dark, bitch.
I did. My
He
ring
said
light shut off. It said goodbye.
Girl, my ring light don't even fucking work anymore. Like, or it works when it wants to, I guess. Like every once in a while, I'll plug it up and it'll be like boop, and then sometimes it won't, and then 15 minutes in, it'll turn on, and I'm like, "Fuck's your problem?"
That's weird.
Anyway, yeah.
I don't know. I've broken three, so this is my third
Wow,
one.
girl,
And technically, this was broken because I can't. Good God, what is going on?
you got a ghost.
I have a
That
ghost.
ghost is doing it.
No, I think this is just a shitty ring light. Like it's probably broken. Like there's something wrong with the wires or something. I don't know.
It
There's
could
no.
be, but yeah, like look at the Alec Murdoch case. I mean, he killed his wife and his son allegedly because he's in prison right now for it. So I would assume that they found him guilty for obviously a reason. But yeah, you never know. You never know. And that was
Mm-mm.
just, in his situation, that was just to get out of financial burden and all that shit that he was
Right.
going through.
It's like,
You don't know. People can be pushed to that, like, I say pushed, but
mhm,
not really pushed because nobody's actually pushing them,
mhm,
but they can bring themselves down to that level.
right.
So it wouldn't surprise me, honestly, if one of the parents did it, you know?
Mhm,
Um, but yeah, the when you talked about the forensic team,
mhm,
I think I probably stopped watching before the forensic team got on there, but they were showing pictures of the injuries that that baby had on her.
mhm.
Um, and it wasn't it consistent with strangulation marks?
Yep.
And then also when they were showed her wrist, she had bruises around her wrist, like, and my immediate thought was, "Oh my god, they had her tied up."
That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah. So what did they since I stopped right around that mark when they were showing, like, the body and everything, or showing certain parts of the body, they didn't actually show her all the way, but, um, they were still trying to, like, figure out what happened, like, they were throwing out the scenarios at the time, so what actually happened? Did they get to that, or is it still an open case?
So here's the thing. They did the forensics, and like you said, they found the blood,
Mhm,
and they said, okay, this she was injured. This is what happened. And they found scissors in the sink. They found like the cut marks. They did like I can't remember if they did a fiber test or not, but
mhm.
it was my understanding that they were like, this is probably what cut the neck.
Okay, so that
And
the fibers probably matched the rope.
yeah, like
That
I
did they
can't
find
remember.
it in the scissors?
No, I don't remember. I can't remember if they said they did do a fiber test or like they just assumed that was what happened. And like they did
Mhm.
like this whole big thing, whole big forensic testing and stuff like that. And then let's see what else happened. So they like that with the 911 call, like you heard it, like the guy was like the first thing he said, "Oh my god, they threw her out of the window. There's a robber." And I'm like,
Yeah, and who was that guy? Who was the one that called?
it was somebody that was already downstairs, apparently,
Oh, I wonder if
according
he
to like,
said that because he saw it or heard from someone.
thank you. So I'm like, did someone say that? And that's why he said it, or did he see someone? So they never figured that out. That never came to fruition. And
Mhm.
then they did like a timeline. So, like, they know when they got home and kind of what happened and when it happened when they got home. So, but did you see the part where they found like the construction guy that was like spending the night in the neighboring building construction?
I don't remember them mentioning a construction guy, but I do remember them mentioning the doorman.
They did. And then for a minute, the suspicion was on him, but they were like, what the fuck? That's going nowhere, which they didn't
Yeah.
really investigate that. But they did investigate the man um, that was like first to the scene on the
Mhm,
like that morning.
mhm.
They investigated him for like 2 minutes and they were like, oh, so was there, had the construction site been broken in? Like, was there a break in? And at first he was like, yes, there was a break in. Something happened. Things were, destroyed. There was a sign of a break in. But then he was like, no, there was no break in.
So how you gonna switch your story? And did they call him out on that?
No, they let him go and
What
never brought
kind
it up
of
again.
what kind of Mickey Mouse investigative team they got going on?
I do not know.
Harriet the
So,
Spy could figure that shit out.
right? Be what? So then, after all that rigmarole, because like it was getting a lot of like social like animosity toward the parents, and like they said that police chief was screaming murderer at the
Mhm.
father.
Yeah. Okay, I do
Like,
remember them saying that.
yeah, like she was saying like murderer, murder, like he was a murderer. kind of a thing. So then the
Mhm.
forensic team comes in, they find the blood. And so to go with like the wounds found on the little girl's person at
Mhm.
autopsy, they're like, she was strangled and she had a head injury. So they were like,
Yes, I saw that little
that
bitty
little,
thing,
yeah,
and I thought, "Surely that wasn't blood from that." It just I don't know. I felt like that wasn't I just
yeah,
didn't feel like that injury was
yeah, like head,
matching the blood.
like it, well, head wounds bleed a lot, even like little teeny tiny ones. Like I've noticed
Mhm.
that. Like, I don't know what that's about. I know there's some reason for it, but like when Bella ran into the car door and split her head open, like she
Oh,
bled so much. Like it was
damn.
insane. Like she bled from outside all the way to the bathroom inside the house.
Holy shit.
And I'm like, oh my God, okay. So I know heavens bleed a lot, but this was like a, like she was, what can I compare it to? Like she was playing with something sharp and it like flicked her in the head for a second. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was like I think that was what got me
Little,
was like the shape of it, and like yeah, the fact that I thought, oh well, that it's a small wound, but I
mhm,
just felt like the shape of it. I don't know why. I was thinking like the shape of it did not match like the drops. I don't know why in my head it
mhm,
just I was like,
yeah. And
mm.
then apparently they did a blood spatter analysis. So they kind of assumed that it was like the dad carrying her because the shape of the droplets.
Hmm.
So like they assumed that it was the dad. And then he said he laid her down on the bed and then like he don't know he didn't know what happened. Like, there was no explanation from point A to point B from the parents.
I was confused on that because didn't he say
Mhm,
that she fell asleep and he went and took her to the bed?
mhm.
Like she fell asleep, or were they out somewhere and she fell asleep in the car and he brought her in?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Yeah. So that's weird.
like so like that wasn't like the forensics were kind of matching up, but then they started interviewing the parents and then that wasn't matching up. And because they said this is what they said that they were in the car, she fell asleep somewhere else, he carried her upstairs and then
Mhm.
went back to get the other kids, but in that time she fell out of the window. And he was a minute from wherever he was to coming to see his child.
Mhm.
Like it took him a minute. So I'm like, where was he?
Right.
Okay. Um, okay. What, I don't know what that word is.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Um, but yes, so they've got a timeline of they came home, car turned off.
Mhm.
They came in. She was something happened, the argument, I'm assuming. And
Mhm.
then she called her dad.
Okay.
And then we're back.
We're back.
So, where we left off was like the stories weren't matching up.
Mhm.
There's a created timeline, and this is like a digitally created timeline. Like it's not like the parents just saying what they thought happened or like what they were doing.
Mhm.
So after they create this timeline, they're interrogated and then they're arrested for the murder, willful murder of young Isabella.
Now both of them or one?
Both of them.
No way. That
Both
is some podunk fucking investigating, dude. No fucking way. That
both of them.
mom, in my opinion, had nothing to do with that.
Mm.
And I'm pretty sure everybody would think the same thing. She
Like several
literally
people said it. Like, no, the stepmom didn't have nothing to do with it. They
out
were
of
like, she
everybody,
ran
she would be like
home.
the number one suspect to me.
But no, no. So they go through this whole big process. By the way, his father is a district attorney.
Bitch. Bitch. Okay. In my opinion, this is why she made that fucking phone call because he
Mhm.
would know what to do. She fucking I'm just saying, in my opinion, what if she killed that child
Mhm.
and she freaked the fuck out
Mhm.
and called her dad?
Mhm.
first to
Mhm.
see what he would do. Now, was her dad any type of significance to anything?
Mm-mm. He
Okay.
was there to like support and be like involved to support his daughter and stuff, but he wasn't like involved in
Mhm.
some
So
bit.
maybe she called her dad first, didn't get an answer, and decided to call her father-in-law because he's a district attorney
Right.
and he could help her
Mhm.
with what's going on.
Right.
Or,
Like, what do we
well,
do?
you said
Kind
they
of
were only,
situation.
sorry, what?
Like a what do we do kind of a situation.
Exactly, like she needed to run it by somebody because she's scared. She just did something, obviously murder. I'm just gonna throw out allegedly because I don't because they well I can't even really say allegedly because they never thought she did anything. So, in my opinion,
Yeah, they thought
I
she was
would think,
involved. They thought it was both of them. Like according to their findings and like the police findings and everything, they thought they collaborated to unalive this child.
oh yeah, I forgot about that YouTube thing. um, I hope they don't be like, you said the K word, so you got to go. You know what I'm saying? Because I forgot to say unalive.
Oh,
I totally forgot all about that. Yeah, because I know that they're like strict with certain words, just from what
I
I've
don't
seen from other YouTube videos. I don't know.
I don't know. I think that might just be like a personal preference. I just said it because it was what popped into my head. I like crazy flowers,
Girl, I mean, unalive do be a thing that people be saying. So,
right? But yeah, so
um,
like they go through like all the interrogations, they go to court, they are indeed convicted and sentenced.
both parents, like the birth mom and the birth dad, I mean, and the dad, right?
No, not the birth mom, the stepmom.
Okay, okay. I was confused because I thought you were saying the parents, like the mom and the dad, and that was why I
No,
was like the mom too, because I totally thought you were saying that, like, and
no,
I
no,
thought
no,
out of
stepmom.
everybody she was not, but
Mm-mm.
no, I could definitely see a stepmom.
Oh, no, stepmom and the dad. Yeah, like they were, I may have misspoke, but yeah, they were convicted of this crime and they didn't do any appeals. They still maintain that they are not guilty and all that stuff. He got 31 years and some months, and she got 27 years and some months. And they get,
I mean, oh, go ahead.
it
Sorry.
sounds accurate, but they also get furloughs for like Mother's Day and Father's Day.
Really?
I guess that's
After
a Brazilian thing. I do not know.
makes
But
no sense when you unalive your kid and then you get Mother's and Father's Day. What?
yeah, whatever. But here's my theory.
Okay.
Like, she fell asleep someplace else. He
Hmm.
did bring her upstairs, but something happened. Like, there was some abuse. Like, maybe he was like, I don't want this child from my previous relationship with my new family. Like, maybe he had a psychotic break and like they were all upstairs and like there was an incident, which is the 15 minutes of arguing that they heard, and then the quiet.
Hmm.
In the quiet, they came up with a story
That's
and
probably when them phone calls were made too.
mhm, and did damage to this child and
Hmm.
then tried to cover it up with
That
hurling her
story.
out of a window.
Yeah. Okay, so even though I didn't watch the entire thing, here is my theory.
Mm,
And I go with the same thing as you do, like maybe like well obviously there was abuse going on with the ligature marks and shit that
very.
were all over that baby.
Mhm.
Um I picture in my head, I don't know. I feel like the blood drops may not have even had anything to do with that. I feel like the blood drops could have been something from something else. I feel like in my opinion it might have just been irrelevant, but they were looking for stuff. So like they saw it and then they just assumed it was part of. what happened in the scenario.
Mm.
I feel like she probably never fell asleep any fucking where. I feel like the stepmom was probably watching her.
Mhm.
Um, in my opinion, I think she was probably watching her
Mhm.
and didn't like her because a lot of stepmoms are that way, especially when like when a man comes in with, especially a daughter. I don't, because daddy daughter relationships, they always tend to be closer, just like moms and sons tend to be closer. That's not saying that's for everybody, but they just tend to be, for the
Right.
most part. Um, but she was probably jealous of how close they were. Then they had their own child together. Wasn't it a son?
Mhm. A little boy.
Okay. So I feel like she was probably jealous. She probably was watching the little girl, tied her up in and whatever, probably was torturing her,
Mhm.
um, and strangled her. And like I said, the blood had nothing to do with that, or maybe the blood did have something to do with the gash on the forehead, but the gash on the forehead probably had nothing to do with the murder, the
Mhm.
homicide. Like
Right.
that could have been from something else, like a different situation. Like she might have hit her head on something. Like you said, it looked like something sharp. Maybe she could have hit her head on the corner of something. People,
Yeah.
kids be doing that. They trip and
Mhm.
fall and whatever.
All the damn time.
Um, mm-hmm. And it's not like she was like super tiny. Obviously, she was 5, so it's not like she was toddler. Well, I mean, that would definitely make sense if it was like a toddler, but she
Mhm.
could have tripped over things that were in the floor or something. You just never know what happened.
Mhm.
But she probably tied her up, tortured her, strangled her, killed her,
Mhm.
and the dad probably came home, saw what she did, and in that time they argued because he probably found her dead. So that's probably what started the argument.
Mhm.
Then she probably made those calls to her dad and his dad because he was like, oh, wait, my dad's a district attorney, let's call him.
Mhm.
So and trying to help her get off because he's like, well, I've already lost my daughter, I don't want to lose my wife either, because
Mhm.
then that's just going to leave me to take care of my child by myself. And because he did that, then he fucked himself, and
Mhm.
then he has to go to prison. Like, why didn't you just come clean if that was the case?
Right.
Best case scenario here is to just come clean and be like, no, this is what fucking happened, because
Mhm.
I ain't going down for no damn body. If that were me in that situation, no, bro, you gone.
Mhm.
Bye. Enjoy prison.
Right. Like, how dare you fucking ruin my life? Thank you.
Hmm. But his dad being a district attorney really didn't help him out as far as getting off. So
Not at all. Yeah. Yeah. But I'm like, and then devil's advocate,
hmm.
the little girl was playing with the net. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh
playing with the net on the outside
yeah.
and got tangled up in it and fell out of the window. Because Bella has fallen out of a fucking window.
Oh, I think I remember that. Wasn't she like little,
She was like
or she was like
7 or 8.
okay.
Yeah. She was supposed to be telling her friends to go in because there was about to be a fucking thunderstorm. And
Mm.
like her little friend's parents were nowhere to be found. And she was like, Brooklyn's still outside. And I was like, tell Brooklyn and her sister to go in the house. There's meant to be a storm. And
Hmm.
I was working overtime at home, fucking
Hmm.
laptop, and I heard the door and I was like, what was that? And Belle was like, oh, nothing. I just went to holler at Brooklyn. And then like she went in the bathroom. And I'm like, something about that was fishy. And then I got up to see what she was doing, and she had these like little scratches on her head. And I'm
Hmm.
like, what's going on there? She's like, oh, my screen fell out when I was trying to yell at Brooklyn. And I like freaked out and was like, oh my God, you could have fallen out of the window. What the fuck? And like freaking out. And then like come to find out, she had fallen out of the window into a bush and come back in and got the leaves and mud and dirt off of her and lied about falling out of the window.
So did you go in there and see that the screen was completely out of the window?
Oh yeah, I knew the screen was out of the window because it was down on the ground. But I was like, because the little scratches on her head didn't make a bit of sense. And I went to
Mm.
bed that night thinking, she lied. I'm gonna get the truth out of her in the morning. Yeah, yeah. Fucking freaked out. She could have had a concussion. She's like, the bush
Girl.
saved me, mom. And I was like, the bush? What you talking about? She's like, I fell in the bush. And she showed me. the whole back of the bush was like broken and like it cushioned her fall to the fucking ground.
Damn. Girl, why do kids be lying about that shit? Or just like even lying or just not telling people things like
But
Nick, as you know, an almost 16-year-old now, which he will be Monday on
holy,
MLK Day. I know, girl. I know. Um,
I can do with that.
he is still telling me things that
Right.
he did as a kid that I didn't even know
Mhm.
about. He was like, yeah, one time I ate leaves. And I was like, the fuck you eating leaves for? Are you a caterpillar? What's happening?
I can't say shit. I've eaten leaves before.
No, I'm sorry. They do not look appetizing.
I was making a taco. It was delicious.
I cannot. I cannot. What else did he tell me that he ate?
Oh my god.
He had told me about some weird shit he's ate that's not like, I mean, I guess it's edible, but like you shouldn't eat it.
Uh,
Um, and I'm like, why didn't you tell me about that? He also told me about how they put rocks in his sock. Him and his little friend did. And yeah, and there was a bird that was like flying by them, and he was like whipping that sock around, and he like not him, I think it was his friend, knocked the bird down, and the bird was dead.
they murdered a
Like
bird.
they killed that bird. Yeah, I said, so your friend murder that bird, and you ain't no innocent bystander, so now you an accomplice.
No, accomplice to bird murder.
Bird murder. We're gonna call it
Bird
birder.
murder.
Birder.
Kids are so weird. Oh my god. Strange people. But yeah. Um, but yeah, no, there's some, I feel like on the part of the detectives and the
Mhm,
forensic team, there
mhm,
was some like scapegoat like blaming, I guess. Like it didn't make sense. Like none of it made sense. And I'm like, are they
mhm.
lying to cover up abuse or are they lying to get away with murder? Like clearly they're lying. Like so it don't add up. And it's like, but now
Yeah.
like non appealing it. Like I feel like if they were innocent, they would have appealed it like 500 times.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. But then, well, I mean, guilty people also appeal.
That's
I
true.
guess that they probably just they know that they're guilty,
Mhm.
and like either way they both would have went to prison, you know, like I feel like if it was the stepmom and the dad walked in on it but he never told the truth about it, you know, if that was the case, or if they both, you know, were like co-conspirated or whatever the fuck together
Right.
to do it, you know, they probably knew there's just, I mean, it obviously pointed to people. To me, it would have pointed more to the people who are taking care of the child who were there, you
Right.
know?
Like
So,
they were complicit in the in harm of their child.
yeah.
Like they knew about it. They knew what was going on.
Mhm.
So either way, they
Yep.
would be found guilty of something.
Yeah. So
So
they know that they're right where they need to be.
mm-hmm.
Period. Period.
Period.
So
Yeah.
let's talk life. How's it been going?
Oh, it's been going like this, like when I, okay, like this is not my first full time 9 to 5. Like I worked for State Farm for
Mhm.
5 years. Don't ever do that. Don't do it. Uh, so, but this is so different, and I'm like, also my work environment's different, and the people are different. Like I
Mhm.
work with
Mhm.
one of my other oldest friends in the world, and I see,
Okay.
and we act stupid every day. And and sometimes we have a little luncharita, um,
That sounds amazing.
a little luncharita, and we ain't turned, but we have a good time. It's fine.
Sure. Yeah.
And
Ain't nothing
then
wrong with that. Shoot.
one of the new guys is an absolute nerd and loves Lord of the Rings and Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm like, my homie, he's also a Gemini, and I'm like, oh,
There we go. Okay. Okay.
like me in male form. Um, but yeah, it's so different, and it's like I don't feel as like oppressed as I did. Like it's still corporate America, but it's just not, I don't feel quite as, you know, like I'm going to lose my mind. Like I have have good days and bad days, but those have nothing to do with
Mhm.
work. So it's
Yeah,
going, it's doing its thing. I like it. So
that's good. That's good. So you're still at the same
yeah,
place, correct?
Florida,
The
Florida.
Florida.
Yeah.
Got it.
I haven't get
Okay.
YouTube ads for it, damn it. I'm like, no, it's cool. I know what they got. I'm there all the
You're
time.
like, nah.
I'm
See,
I
it be
go
knowing. It be knowing because it be knowing where you at every day.
every day. And I'm like, if I didn't have to go there and like have my GPS on, because I do, like the traffic, like obviously I know where I'm going every day, but
Right.
like the traffic, like I just need to make sure there's no wrecks that I need to avoid by taking back.
Oh yeah.
So I do the GPS. So
Yeah.
so yeah. And I didn't realize I was so interested in tile. Like
Do
I've
you
picked
get
them out.
discounts?
No, I don't. Right? Oh, it did an emoji thing.
What?
It did it. Well, you did the hold on, is it gonna do it? No.
Oh,
I lost my nail. It
it
did
do it
it on
again?
hold on. Dang it, it's not gonna do it again.
Let me try this one.
Yeah, there you go. Now why does it it did it.
I see it. It showed up. That is so funny.
I
That
can't
happens when I'm in
remember
my
why it does that. Oh, because you're using your phone. Like it does. Okay, yeah. I ended up doing my phone.
okay. Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
um,
because that happens when I'm in my therapy sessions. It like randomly it'll pop up like the thumbs up and I'm like, who did that? And I was assuming it was my therapist. Like, yeah, to you for getting therapy because you're fucked up.
right.
I'm kidding. Literally, obviously,
No.
any and everybody can take therapy and you
Therapy is
don't have to be fucked up. It is
very
amazing.
if you're even if you're not comfortable with therapy, you need a journal or something. Like get out
Yes, you got to have an outlet.
those bad thoughts. Like you got to. It's so important.
Yes.
But yeah, no, everything's been good. Bella's been bugging me about driving. I don't like it. She makes me nervous.
Girl, I feel you. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you what my child does
Oh god.
when we out riding, okay? Well, I say riding, but he driving and I'm riding and I'm like, I grab the dash and the oh shit handle more than I've ever done in my entire life.
Right?
And that's even with riding with my mom and Philip because both of them don't be knowing how to drive and they drive crazy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of mom, my mom's here. I just got a notification on my camera that her car was on my driveway.
Lovely.
I don't know why she came. I
You
guess
were
she was gonna. Oh, she's bringing me birthday money for Nick. Um,
oh,
I
okay.
forgot because she goes back and forth. She's like, first she's telling me to bring that I can stop by there after I go this afternoon because I got a Target order I got to get. And she's like, come over here on your way back and I'll give you that birthday money for Nick.
Mhm.
And I said okay. And then she goes to, uh, well, I'll come over if you want to leave a piece of birthday cake for me. And I'm like, first of all, I haven't even made the birthday cake yet. For one, two, we got the flu going through this house. What if I'm infected and I'm breathing all over his fucking cake, and then I give you some, and then your old ass is laid out with the flu? Like I no, I can't give you the. I don't want to give you the flu, so I'm not going to
Right.
give you any cake.
Right.
So don't come over here looking for cake because you ain't going to get none,
Right.
woman.
Girl ain't no cake.
No
Nope.
cake for you. But yeah, we were sitting at a red
Oh yeah.
light,
Mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden Nick starts to like he had stopped and the car next to us had rolled up next to us and they just had stopped. And then I guess like they may have like let off their brake a little bit, so they rolled up a little bit
Mm-hmm.
and he all of a sudden starts to mash the gas. And all of a sudden I said, and I about choked on my Chick-fil-A
Oh
because I
god.
was literally munching on some Chick-fil-A that we just picked up. And then I'm just like, like, And he was like, and he stopped all of a sudden. His face was red, and he was like, "I thought it was green because the car next to us started rolling." And I said, "You don't go off other cars. You go off of what you see. You go off of what you see, bro. You see red, you fucking stop. You see green, then you go as long as ain't nobody like fooling in the damn intersection and running a red light. And then, you run into them because you had the green light and they had red and they were not abiding by the law. Like, just be cautious. That's all
Mhm.
I ask. Like
Right.
that child. And he takes damn turns, girl, where I feel like we gonna flip over.
Mhm.
He be like, we be at a red light
Mhm.
every time we go to Dunkin', okay? Because the only time that child drives is
Mhm.
on the weekends because I don't go anywhere during the week. We
Yeah.
all work from home, so it's like whatever. Well, I'll have him drive us to Dunkin' and then to Chick-fil-A and then back home, and it's the same. Like we take three different routes, but essentially it's the same.
Right.
Um, we will be at the red light,
Mhm.
and will be like turning to go left. And
Mhm.
that's when he like comes out and he whips it around there and scares the absolute shit out of me because I feel like you need to take it slower. Like I don't even be taking them that fast. Like when I'm
Mhm.
turning there, because it's like a sharp turn because there's people, in their turning lane
Mhm.
sitting there,
Mhm.
and you have to like go around them. And sometimes they fooling and they be way over the line. And
Yup.
I just, I can't.
Mhm.
Um, it's terrifying to have a drive. And girl, when I read the damn insurance rates, like we don't pay anything for Nick to be on there right now. Like he's on there because he's a permitted driver, but they are not charging us for him to be permitted. You know what I'm saying? Like he's listed on our insurance, but we're not paying anything extra. But
Mhm.
I read that when they actually have their driver license, you can look for your rates to double
Girl,
at the least. And
our
we already be paying damn near $300 because of fucking Philip and his damn speeding ticket that he likes to get and not tell no damn body and think he's gonna
right?
get away with it.
What the fuck? Girl,
Yes.
ours tripled. Bella does not
Tripled?
Bella does not have her license. She has her permit, and they randomly took 1,200 and some odd. Yeah, yeah, $1,200. Ever count triple, fucking triple. It was already 400 and
What?
something, like 402. Yeah,
And
one
it's
thousand two hundred
1200?
$79.
That's
It's almost
monthly?
my goddamn mortgage.
That's monthly?
Yes, bitch.
Bitch. Are you fucking serious? Because you know that Nick's is gonna be even more than that because he's a fucking male. Because they always be making the males pay more.
Right.
Always. You got to be kidding me.
That's well. It's also with Chris on our insurance because you know. Um, because
Girl, I
like
know because Philip is the same damn way. He got so much shit all over his record. That's why we be paying as much as we do. Who do you have?
and we only have one car now, and our car insurance is separate from our homeowners insurance. So we lost a bunch of discounts too.
So who's your car insured with?
Liberty Mutual.
Okay, we have Progressive. We used to have State Farm, but State Farm was fooling because Philip. I mean, they'd be fooling, but they also not be fooling because they were always really good at like paying out when you had accidents and shit like that. Like they were covering everything. They were real fast about it. Like thumbs up to them for that.
Mm-hmm.
But then all of a sudden, I get a call from the agents at the agency, which we had always been insured with State Farm because my
Same.
mom was insured with State Farm forever and she dropped them, but we stayed on her policy. So they just switched it to me as like the primary
Yeah.
policy holder. And they called me one day and David, this guy that, I always saw him because we used to pay in person. So we would go down there and pay.
Mhm.
And I used to see him all the time. And he's like, Christy, you're not going to like this. And I'm like, what? And he said, we're gonna have to go up on your insurance because Philip is like definitely a liability, and we have had to pay out like 3 or 4 different times now for new vehicles for him. And I'm like, really? And when he told me the rate just for him was like it was going to be like 300 something, and that was like dropping our benefits down to like a really high deductible, liability only.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me." So, he said, "I completely understand if you wanna shop around, let me know, you need to let me know by, like, the end of this week or whatever." And that's when I looked it up on Progressive, and Progressive was able to give us a way better deal, and our insurance was not 197 for 2 vehicles, and
Mm-hmm.
that was full coverage, $500 deductible or 250 deductible. I think 500 for Philip and 250 for mine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then now it's 266 because of his fucking speeding ticket.
Girl, why can't these men drive?
Girl, they literally were born without the driving gene. The fuck? Because he
Now,
was Philip was in accidents all the time as a teenager. He just never has been able to drive. He's
that's
reckless.
unfortunate. That's fucking unfortunate. But like,
Mhm.
Chris had 2 accidents in 2 years, and then some speeding tickets that I didn't know about. So for our 2 cars, full coverage because they were not paid for, um, our Geico dropped us. By the way, they said no, fuck off, and progressive.
That lizard said bye.
Yeah, man. Uh,
Gecko, whatever the fuck.
yeah, and Liberty Mutual is like, sure, but you're gonna pay an arm, a leg, a tit, and a foot.
A tit and foot. Girl, literally. We used to have Liberty Mutual for our homeowners insurance when we
Mhm.
lived in Shelbyville, but we ended up getting Progressive here. Now, Progressive do be fooling
Mm.
on homeowners insurance
Mm.
because when we were shopping around for insurance to, insure the home when we first bought it,
Mhm.
um, they were the cheapest ones, and it was like 700 a year. And I was like, oh shit, okay, because we paid like 3,000 a year for our Shelbyville home, and that was a shit ton. And I was like, yeah, we'll take 700, bitch. They'd be taking like 2 or 3,000 now. And I don't even know, they don't even be like telling why. And I'm like, we literally went from 700 and you don't think I'm gonna notice?
Mm. Mm. Mm-mm.
That's more than triple. That's quadruple the rate, you know?
Like, what the
What the
fuck?
fuck?
Like, what did you add? Take shit off. Quit.
Yes, exactly. And girl, after Philip got his speeding ticket, I tried to go through and like, edit it like where we could take off some things maybe or whatever. And I
Okay.
dropped a whole bunch of shit off of it. And I was like, okay, this will bring it down. And it said, oh, well, because of that, it will drop at $57. I thought that was going to be $57 a month, but it was
Mm-mm.
57 for the year.
That's
For
also
the
for the premium.
year. Yeah. Like, what the fuck? You gonna drop it $57 after we're dropping a shit ton of stuff. We're going liability only. Like, we got a damn $1,000 deductible, like no medical, like what?
God, ew, no,
It ain't even worth that. I may as well just keep all of that because at least if he does have an accident, then they gotta buy him another car.
exactly.
Girl.
Like, don't get me wrong, I've had accidents, but it's like
I've
I.
been in like I said, I had that one when I was 16.
Mhm.
That wasn't my fault.
Mhm.
And then I had another one when I had that white Impala that I used to drive, and that was the one where all of us were in it. That wasn't my fault either.
Mhm.
But that was 11 or 12 years ago.
Right.
And then I had like a little fender bender
Mhm.
at a red light. That was my fault.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's
Um,
it.
let's see. I was in an accident with Eunice, my PT Cruiser,
Hmm.
and that one was my fault. I ran off the road, but I was also trying to avoid hitting another car. I should have just hit the bastard. Um,
Yeah, but then again, you'd have to pay for their shit, and at least if it was your fault, that's more money your insurance company would have had to pay out to
that's
that
true.
mofo.
This way, I just had to get new tires and a new wheel.
Yeah.
But it was like that was I ran off the road. But like
Mm.
then that truck, I got hit by a lumber truck. And
Shit.
then someone rear-ended me on the interstate, but that was like it was like the residual of a completely different crash. Like it was like 5 cars involved, and like a
Yeah.
kid went spinning and hit me, and that totaled it because of the lift gate. But that was the last one, and I'm like, hopefully I won't get, knock on wood, won't get into any others anytime soon. So yeah,
For real.
it's like, oh my
God,
god,
for real.
right? All righty. And we're going to take another break and then finish our recap and just chit chat for a bit. Yeah, come back and join us while we catch up. See you in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're back. Hi.
Hello.
Fed and ready to continue chatting.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The kids are driving us crazy, literally and figuratively. Um,
Mm-hmm. As per our episode, if you did not watch or listen, please
yeah.
do.
Go back. Yeah, the kids driving us crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, whew, Bella's a timid driver.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you have to go. I'm like, do things with purpose. And I'm like, you're gonna run over her. And I'm just like, no, you have to take driver's ed. You have to take driver's ed. Like beginning and end of it. Like she may have to take it outside of school, like find a class somewhere to take. And my mom
They
was like,
do have those.
yeah, like my mom was like, I'll pay for it. And I was like, that's great. Cause I can't teach her how to drive. Like between her anxiety and my anxiety, like I'm literally like, we like get home and we're both like,
Frazzled.
like
You
we're
get
both
home and
like,
your glasses are up on the top of your forehead and they're like sitting sideways. Your hair's like
like like nothing bad happened. We're just both traumatized by little tiny hiccups, and we're
Yep.
both like, you at Starbucks? And I'm like, yo,
Girl.
I was like, pull over, I'll drive to the Starbucks.
Well, you know what's funny is that when Nick drives to Dunkin', he will not go through the drive-through. He said he does not want to go through the drive-through, and I'm like, I don't understand. But I feel like it's because of him having to like pull up to the speaker and say he's there to get my order,
Mm-hmm.
because I'll order it and then pick it up through the drive-through. That way I don't have to worry about whether you caught everything I said, because I order my coffees very specifically,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, I would rather just order ahead and then go pick it up, but ain't nobody trying to go in, so I go through the drive-through. But he wants to go in, and I'm like, why do you want to go in? And he's like, because I don't have to talk to anybody. Like, it's just sitting on the counter and I pick it up and go. But sometimes they do talk to him
Mm-hmm.
because they know him,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, because I'm there all the time. So they know who he is because he's always with me.
Right.
And it's funny because this one lady that works there, we see her like every single time we go.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just this little short, just she's so cute. And she's from Jersey, you can definitely tell. Um, but she's been there since even he was in middle school, because I can remember pulling up
Wow.
there and she would call him Smiley because he never smiled, but she would call him Smiley.
Oh.
And so now she just like plays with him every single time we come in there, and she's just like, "Good morning." Like she says it really loud to him, and then he like smirks at her and shakes his head. And she's like, "I hope you have a beautiful day." And it's just the funniest thing. She told me, I think it was Thursday when I went through the drive-through. She's like, your son came in here like on Saturday, and that's the first time I've seen him come inside here. And I said, "Oh, you're on the other side of the counter." And he said, "Yeah, I like to come in when I drive." And then she was like, "Oh, okay." So whatever that is, I think he just doesn't. I don't know, because when Nick talks, like he has like the deepest voice because he's just like
Mhm.
Philip, but
Right.
like at the same time, he also does not enunciate and he don't move his damn lips when he talking. So I can't
Yeah.
understand what he's saying half the time.
Right.
And he don't even like raise his voice enough for me to hear him. I'm always like, what?
Mhm.
what? Can you say that again? And then he just tells me I have grandma ears. And I'm like, I don't have grandma ears. It's like, you need to open your
You're
fucking mouth
mumbling.
when you talk. Exactly. And he get that shit from Philip too, because Philip's a mumbler as
Mm.
well.
Like they're just growling. It's not actual speech. They're just growling.
Girl, precisely.
I can't understand.
Precisely.
Oh my god! Speak up.
Right?
Yeah. Trina has a
Oh.
really deep voice, and I feel like he like like he doesn't like that he has a deep voice, so he like
Mm,
raises his like speech octave, and
hmm.
I'm like, why does he do that? Because I know he's like down here in the bass rumbling and stuff, and I'm like,
When Nick tries to do that, but he's like he's doing it if usually if he's like trying to imitate somebody or something, you know what I'm saying? Like especially if
yeah.
it's like a female or just someone that
Hmm.
has like a high pitched voice, he just be like trying to throw it, and every
Hmm.
time, even when he does, he still don't sound like it. And he's like, I can't. He used to squeal like, I don't know, like when he was a little bit younger, he would like do these little high pitched squeals, and he can't do it anymore, and he hates that he can't because they always startle me, and that's his fucking mission in life, is to startle his mother every chance he gets.
Like I swear, him and Bella were born under the same moon. Because Bella loves scaring me. Like she was like just before she left, she was standing like at the on the stairwell where I couldn't see her when I went
Hmm.
on the corner. It's like jokes on her.
Hmm.
I heard her coming. She's just standing there looking. Like I'm like, stop being me. It's weird. Weird. Don't be me. Don't do that. She's so weird. But yeah, no.
I tell you.
How was your work? How was all the talking and the data entry? You don't have to call
Um,
people anymore, though, do you?
Correct. I do not. I have not had to, thankfully, in a little over 2 years.
Good.
But I also kind of miss that because I feel like when I was in the other department, everybody that was in that department was more talkative, but
Mm-hmm.
everybody that's in my department now, we are specifically there because we're not talkative. So I didn't have like a good, balance, because I can't, there's only one of my coworkers that I really actually talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Megan, because she actually listens to the podcast.
Hey.
So she's like the only one I talk to besides like my supervisor. And then um my friend Paige, shout out to Paige, because I think she sometimes listens.
Okay.
So, Paige.
I know,
Um,
Paige. It's okay.
yeah, she's like higher up now. Did I ever tell you about that? Like she's like way up in the company now.
No, no, I remember you telling me she got promoted.
So she was in the same department as me before I moved over, and then she was supervisor, and now she's manager. So
Oh,
she's stepping on up, but she a boss bitch. But good for her, because they can't pay me enough to step the fuck up, first of all. Second, anytime I've ever gone out for a supervisor position, just a fucking simple supervisor position that I could literally do,
mhm.
they'd be like, no. Actually, I lost the supervisor position to her. But that's all love there, okay? I love you, Paige, but
Right?
you obviously were the best one for the job. Look at the hearts.
Sorry. That's so cute.
But yeah, they can't pay me enough. They don't pay me enough to do what I do now, and that's why like I just be doing what I'm supposed to do, and I ain't doing nothing extra, hunty. You can't pay me. You ain't gonna pay me the same amount you paying every damn body else for me to do a whole bunch of stuff. No,
Mm-mm.
ma'am. No, ma'am. I do what I have to do to keep my job. That is it.
Like I will check the boxes of my job description and go no further unless you want to pay me more. If I'm gonna
Exactly.
spend like 75% of my time as a person
Hmm.
working for somebody else.
Hmm. Girl, I wish I could go into my own. Like, I want my own business. That's my goal in life.
Mm-hmm.
Is like, I wish I had like a bakery, because I'm trying to get one established. Like, I'm trying to do the steps, but trying to get into these damn farmers markets is like fucking cutthroat, dude. Like,
Really?
I apply, pay a little application fee, and then they be emailing me back saying that they got too many bakeries already. And it's like, well, fuck your bakeries, punk. You
Damn.
only need this bakery, okay? I'm bringing
These the
the
only cakes
goodies.
you need? Ethel?
Yes, all of this cake, I got it. That's the only cake you need, okay? And icing.
Exactly. Oh man.
Also wanted to update you that speaking of cake,
Hmm.
I'm no longer seeing my nutritionist
Okay.
because, and I made that decision.
Hmm.
Um, I was, I'm sorry, I guess I'm just gonna stay anorexic. That's all I'm saying.
Mm.
We probably ought to put a disclaimer on that, talking about eating disorders, but I
Right.
guess I'm just gonna have to stay with my eating disorder because I gained 20 pounds in a couple of months from working with her because she telling me to live my best life. Girl, don't you know my best life was 282 pounds when I was eating whatever the fuck I wanted to?
Girl,
Mm,
it is
I
not
can't
funny.
live my best life.
It is
Mm-mm,
not
it
funny.
ain't.
Like once this, like fad new year, new me bullshit is over in January, I'm actually gonna go to the gym that I pay for every damn month and actually do some moving because no thickness shaming, like your girl is chunky. No delusion here. I am unhealthy. Never mind my size. Never mind my pants size. Never mind my dress size. Do not give a fuck about that. I am unhealthy. And I do not like it. Like,
I get
don't give a
that.
crap what size I am. I know that I am not moving around enough.
Right.
Food's not the problem. It's my lifestyle. But anyway, continue with your fucked up nutritionist because I don't think gaining weight is the point.
Yeah. I told her I wanted to be healthy. I just wanted to eat healthy, be healthy.
Mhm.
But she was like, well, what does healthy look like to you? And I said, well, fit and eating clean foods because that's all I know to do when I'm healthy.
Right.
Which I am healthy, like
Mhm.
relatively overall, I'm healthy. Besides, I think I got some kidney issues going on. That's stuff that runs literally in my genetics.
Right.
My mom's got issues. My granny had issues. My granny passed away from those issues. My mom is probably on that same route,
Mm.
and I'll probably be next. But anyway, let's not put that in the damn universe.
Right now.
Other than that, I'm relatively healthy.
Mhm.
I was always healthy even when I was bigger. And
Mhm.
she did point that out to me. She said, you do realize that healthy looks different on different people. She's like,
Mhm.
just because even if you were 282 pounds, you don't
Mhm.
have high cholesterol, no high blood pressure, don't have diabetes,
Mhm.
none of that, you're healthy.
Mhm.
She's like, so you can weigh that and be healthy. And I'm like, but I don't want to weigh that. What is your
Right.
problem, woman? I don't want to. I didn't go through surgeries for nothing. I got that chopped off because that was what was left of the former Christie. I
Right.
don't want to ruin that
Mhm.
because, girl, let me tell you something. When you have a damn tummy tuck
Mhm.
and you eat too damn much, you feel that shit, girl. You feel
I
that
can't even
shit,
imagine. I can't even imagine.
girl. It
Mm-mm.
is so damn tight. It just
Mm.
feels like somebody is taking your skin
Mm-mm.
and just stretching as far as they can. That is what it feels like if I eat too much food
Mhm.
in one
Yeah.
sitting. Like,
Yeah.
it's uncomfortable as fuck.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to fuck that up.
Mm-mm.
And
Mm-mm.
not to mention, when you have surgeries like that, where, like, say, like they have to lipo and they also, cut the skin off.
Mhm.
Well, when they do that, like, you end up growing fat in other places when you gain weight.
Girl, it redeposits itself in other places, and sometimes those places are not good places, and it is unfortunate. I watch
Exactly.
multiple insomnia will teach you so much because you just be watching documentaries. Um,
I feel that.
like this one lady, she had a tummy tuck,
Mm,
and I think she got her arms done, and she didn't
mm,
really have like I got dimples and stuff because that's where a lot of my fat deposits, but it also deposits like on my arms and on my belly and stuff like that, on my chin and stuff.
mhm.
So like it's just kind of everywhere. But it's like if
Yeah,
I get a tummy tuck, it's gonna go straight to my ass
yeah.
because
See,
that's the
and it's not
fat.
like you need it in your ass.
Right.
You got that booty, girl.
Thick with 3 C's. But yeah, like
Crazy.
it'll like redeposit stuff, like it'll move someplace else. Like,
Mhm.
don't think that that's the end all be all. No one wants that. No one wants that.
Girl.
If you've done all the hard work and dedication that you have to sculpting your body to look the way you want it to, be it
Right.
fitness or aftermarket upgrades, whatever,
Yeah.
don't nobody
Aftermarket upgrades. I love that.
don't nobody want to just like fuck that shit up.
Yes, exactly. I was like, ma'am, I said, I am like doing well to fit into my jeans right now. Like it was very hard for me to fit into my jeans. Like they were uncomfortable. Like if I sat down, I was like,
Yeah.
I would have to like unbutton that shit, you know? Like I did well to get it buttoned. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I can't because she kept asking, like, are you noticing any difference? Like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I am.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing as how I was in small and medium shirts before and now I'm over here large, extra large, like, man, I can't do this.
Like, what
So
was he having you eat?
she was like, I had hair on my tongue. She was
Yeah.
basically just telling me, like, if you feel like eating something, eat it. There's nothing wrong with you eating it. Like like I don't know. I was literally eating whatever, like whenever I felt like it. Like it wasn't always healthy. I would grab like, for instance, if we had taquitos, like frozen
Mm-hmm.
taquitos, I pop
Mm-hmm.
one of them motherfuckers or a few of them in
Mm-hmm.
the air fryer and eat those.
Mm-hmm.
Or I would have 4 mozzarella sticks. Um, I just ate whatever was in the house, and it's like it just all started coming on me, like coming on me. That's dirty. What? um, yeah, it just like all started like piling up basically,
Yeah.
and I was like, I can't live my best life. I can't if I see something that I want to eat, I can't just be like, oh yeah. Like that's the thing is, I don't think she understood.
Mm-hmm.
She was a little petite girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if she was Laotian or she was Asian or just, something around that. But they tend to be smaller. Like that's just I think that's just their genetics, they're just like smaller. I've just mostly seen petite women,
Mm-hmm.
especially. Um, but I don't think she understands because I don't think she's been in those shoes before to understand like how it is and knowing like, you're the one that diagnosed me with an eating disorder. So you should know that like, yes, I do realize like I look in the mirror
Mm-hmm.
and I don't see what everybody else sees.
Mm-hmm.
So I am messed up here.
Mm-hmm.
But in the same sense, like you can't just like you said, I've tried to sculpt my body the way I want it to, and I have to maintain that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to maintain, but in the long run, I ended up gaining 20 pounds when I was like, I want to maintain where I'm at right now. Like, I'm okay with the weight that I am now. I'm
Mm-hmm.
okay with the size. I just want to maintain it. Want to be healthy, eat healthy. That's it. And it just wasn't like, I mean, I did feel better mentally
Yeah.
being able to eat whatever I wanted to because I wasn't so hard on myself and then I wasn't tracking. So
Mm-hmm.
that gave me a break. And every time I would grab like a book instead of my phone to track. So that way I was getting reading in and it was doing something productive. Um, but I do feel better mentally. I also went off of my Wellbutrin for the seasonal depression. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like it was like she raised my milligrams, like doubled them from like 150 to 300. And when she did that, I started having like heart palpitations basically.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, let's go back down to 150. You cannot do this. So went back down to 150 and I was like still experiencing it. And I don't know. And she was like, she said that it is a common side effect. But it was making me feel bad. Like, I don't mean like in a depressed feel bad, but just like, I don't like this feeling of my heart racing. I don't like to feel that you know, that I'm anxious, that anxious feeling. I don't like it.
Yeah, it sounds like it was giving you anxiety, not.
I mean, it felt like what I would describe as anxiety because of the
Mhm.
heart racing, but it didn't feel like anxiety. It just felt like I feel like I'm gonna have to go to the ER. like
Which is
that
weird
type
because
of
you have
feeling.
a really low heart rate anyway. So like
Right. So
for it to
anytime it
be,
spiked,
yeah, like that's terrifying. I don't blame you.
mhm.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, girl, it was like 125, 130. And that's double what my heart rate is. Yeah. And I'm like, I cannot. And it would especially hit me. It was
Mhm.
the weirdest thing. It would hit me when I would lay in bed at night trying to go to sleep. It would hit me when I would go to my garage to work out. The weirdest thing. It's like the second I get in the garage, I feel it. And I'm like sitting there thinking paranormal wise, I'm like, I
Mhm.
wonder if this is like not really paranormal, but like if you watch Ghost Hunters or anything like that,
Mhm.
they have like EMF detectors. And
Mhm.
usually if there's high EMF fields, like electromagnetic fields, if there's
Mhm.
high enough of those, like it will cause you to have certain symptoms like headache, dizziness, anxiety, like all of that will happen. And I'm like, okay, so is there like high EMF shit going on in my bedroom and in the garage? That's why I only feel it in those two places, but I only feel it at night in the bedroom because that's the only time I'm in my bedroom is at night.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I went completely off of it.
Mhm.
I didn't really taper off of it either. I just kind of stopped. I didn't have any, luckily, didn't have any like side effects from not tapering off. I did just fine. And
Mhm.
I have never felt fucking better, Ashley. Never
Mhm.
felt better.
That's
Yes. I'm like, super productive now. I've got more energy. I actually want to go out and do things. Like I feel like my old self,
mhm.
like from years ago before the
Yeah.
pandemic.
Mhm.
So it's crazy. But yeah, that's how life has been over here. I've just been trucking along and doing my thing and um like you already know, nobody else out there knows, but battling with the flu in the household. So
Right.
fingers crossed. Is it gonna do that emoji?
The
I'm waiting on it.
I guess not. And
Damn.
there's several that it does. Or something. I don't know which one. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, like as far as like medications and stuff, I
Hmm.
have which I backed off of it off of my Vraylar because it was like they did a whole study, like they had a conference about it and everything, which is why I started going to every other day. But like it actually it exacerbates anxiety. So if you have bipolar with a complication of um anxiety,
Hmm.
it heightens your anxiety. So I'm like, that is like the being bipolar isn't the main issue that I deal with. That's like a day to day battle. It's the anxiety. So why would I make that
So
work? But I
it's
do.
like, do you treat the anxiety and not treat the bipolar?
Mhm.
Because I know you've been on Wellbutrin, and I think that can treat both of those. Can well, it's supposed to treat. Isn't it supposed to treat anxiety, but it don't because it be heightening the anxiety. I don't get
No,
it.
depression and ADHD.
That's right. That's right. Okay, I knew ADHD was one of them.
Mhm.
As like a secondary, whatever
Mhm.
the fuck. That
Yeah.
didn't really work for my ADHD. I don't think.
Ogre. It turned off my impulse control. It said goodbye. It said you gonna buy whatever pops into your head. You're gonna spend as ever much money. You're gonna go for runs that you know your fat ass ain't supposed to be doing because you done gained too much weight to be running on these knees, these cottage cheese. Don't do that. No, what we should is bad. Um, but yeah, no, but I do have my anxiety medication that I take in the event that I'm feeling real verklempt on
Mm.
a regular basis. And
Hydroxyzine.
yes,
I've got that too.
that stuff works. Although it makes like the apathy, like I do not give a flying fuck, absolutely ridiculous. And I am an asshole.
Oh shit.
I'm like, they're like, oh, like somebody will tell me something, I'll be like, what you want me to do about it? Like,
Dead
don't
bitch.
give a fuck. Don't give nothing. Do not
then
care.
I'll then I'll know if I ever text you and you
Mhm.
basically like I don't give a fuck. I'm
Mhm.
gonna know. I'm gonna be like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's like,
hydroxyzine, bitch. Okay.
yep. It's like I had to take a hydroxyzine today. Today is I don't give a fuck there, but not in like a manic way, if that makes
Hmm.
sense. Like, it's, like,
Yeah.
nonchalant, not, like, an aggressive, "Fuck everything."
Right.
And it's the like, and that's the only thing that causes that. So, it's like I've been trying to really dial into my, like, meditation, because I have a 38-minute drive to work in the morning,
Yeah.
afternoon. So, like, my meditation, journaling, like, keeping with my routine, things like that to keep the bipolar at bay,
At bay.
control
Hmm.
the anxiety, because it's like I don't want to be on pills for forever. Also, I can't be treated for my physical ailments if I'm taking mental health drugs,
I'll tell
because
you what, that
they
shit sucks.
are fun. Girl, I have been having a fibromyalgia and Sjogren's flare.
Oh
Like,
no.
the past 2 weeks, I've woken up like just like, oh, oh, oh my god, I can't eat, like sore, like all over. Like, I'm tender, my legs keep swelling up, and my socks keep bruising me, and I'm like, what the fuck? And it's like,
Damn.
okay, and which is why I'm like, I am very unhealthy right now. Like, I am not in a good, like, functioning space.
Yeah.
So also, I've been eating out a lot, and I'm like, ooh, ooh, ooh,
Mm.
like, girl, you
That is something that makes me feel bad is like eating out a lot because we did
yeah,
that before, like
mhm,
years ago. It seemed like we ate out like all the time.
mhm,
And when I stopped eating out and
mhm,
started like cooking again and stuff, I
mhm,
was like, fine. Like
mhm,
my
yeah,
body was like,
it's
okay,
okay.
now
Yeah,
this is how you're supposed to do
mhm,
it.
yep. I need to see, that's the thing, it's like, I've lost all my passion for cooking. Like, I'm like, I just need something so I don't pass out. Like, I don't care what it is. So it's like I need to get back into that, "Oh, this tastes good, I want to eat it, let me make it," thing. Because right now I'm just like, "Fuck some food, I don't care." You know?
Girl, I was going through the same damn thing as far as fuck the food, and I don't give a
Mhm,
fuck.
yeah,
That's what I was like struggling with that. And that was why I
mhm,
started with the nutritionist because I was like, I literally don't even want to eat food anymore.
mm-mm,
Like, I only eat because I know I have to.
right,
Like, I can't just like starve myself.
yeah,
So I'll
that's what
eat.
I
It's
felt.
just nothing sounded good. Nothing, I just didn't have any desire to cook anything, fix anything. I would just
Mhm,
grab like that's why I was grabbing the damn cheese sticks and whatever. And she was
mhm,
over here basically like, live your best life, eat them cheese sticks, girlfriend. And I
amen,
was like, okay. And then 20 pounds later,
right,
uh, but I finally like I'm back to I want to fix my foods again, and
mhm,
I'm back to tracking. I've already lost 2 pounds just in the first week. So
like, it's
if
clearly
that tells you how much more I was eating,
I think there was some miscommunication on the side of your nutritionist. Like, I think she was like, "Oh, eating disorder because you're doing all these things to control your diet and blah blah blah." And it's like she didn't approach that from a perspective of this could be a useful tool to ensure that you are maintaining your weight and not constantly dwelling on losing or
hmm,
changing. Like, I feel like she just didn't approach that in a good way. Like, she
yeah, I kind of feel like she looked at it more of it was a stressor for me, which I mean, she wasn't wrong because it was a
right.
stressor for me
Yeah.
to track it. I was like, I get so tired of tracking. Like
Mhm.
it was, I was just fed up with everything at that point. But she was like, I think you should stop tracking
Mhm.
and do more of intuitive eating, and let's see if we can like. I think she was hoping that I would get back to wanting to eat again because she thought that that was such a trigger for me was the
Mhm.
tracking, and it was so much of a stressor that it
Mhm.
was making me not want to eat is I think is the way she might have been looking at it. And it's not that like yeah, I know I didn't want to eat. It was
Mhm.
more of like a it was such a hassle to eat because like
Mhm.
I hate cooking my stuff.
Mhm.
Like every single meal I hate cooking.
Mhm.
Like I don't hate cooking. I love cooking, but I
Mhm.
hate cooking every meal.
Yeah.
It gets tiresome when you've been doing it for so long. And at that
Mhm.
point I was 2 years in and I was tired of doing it.
Mm.
So I think maybe I just needed that little break, and
Yeah.
maybe it was a good thing for me to do for a little bit because I
Mhm.
did get to enjoy the holidays.
Right.
I got to enjoy all the good foods and stuff without going into a diabetic coma. Thank
Mhm.
God. Because I sure did do my sweets eating, let me
Mhm.
tell you. Um, but yeah, so I don't know, but I'm glad that I feel better now, and I hope that like I continue to feel better because I was on that medication for 6 months. So 6 months, they say 6 months is usually what you need to
Mhm,
get like your levels back up.
mhm,
So I'm good now. And actually it's funny because like the seasonal things, they don't even affect me anymore.
mm,
Like since I've been off of it anyway, and
mm.
you would think right now we in the thick of
We're in the thick of
seasonal depression.
depression, yeah.
hmm And
Mhm,
I'm like so shocked that I don't feel it.
mhm,
It's weird to not feel it in my body
mhm,
and to just wake up and like, oh, it's gloomy outside. Well, that sucks, but I'm going to go about my day anyway. Like,
right.
you know, oh,
Mhm.
I do have vitamin D. I'm insufficient in vitamin D.
Same.
Okay. So how much are you insufficient? Like, are you insufficient or deficient?
Uh, Deficient. I don't have any.
Oh, oh shit.
Like
Okay. So I'm just insufficient.
I'm negative, like, I don't even know, like 10 points or something.
Holy shit. Dude, I was point It was either no, it was 1 point under what you need
Mhm,
to be when they did my
mhm,
blood work, and
mhm,
my doctor was like, I want you to take vitamin D." She
mhm,
wanted me to take 5,000
mhm,
IU, whatever the fuck
mhm,
they call them.
mhm,
And I got to, like, looking that up, and it said that, a lot of which I knew from, like, my personal training nutrition book that I had to read in order to get certified.
yeah.
I remember on there that people can like overdose on vitamin D. Like that's one of the main ones you can overdose on.
Mhm,
Um, but I remember reading in there about it and saying you shouldn't take like that much of it. And
mhm,
then I Googled it and it was saying that like, I mean, people that are like deficient in it, that's okay for them to take like higher amounts like that. But I'm literally 1 point from being normal. I don't understand why I had to take that much. So I did not take that much. Like, sorry,
mhm,
doctor, but I do my own thing. I
mhm.
hear opinions and then I do my own thing.
Right.
So,
So get your own
my
information. But
in
yeah,
my medical opinion, I'd be taking 400 IUs.
no, I did the same thing because I was like, whoa, 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 that's a lot. Because I take 50,000 once a week. But
Oh,
also,
once a week? That's it?
yeah,
Okay, I thought. Well, no, that's still high, but like
yeah,
once a week. I didn't know you only took it once a week. Do you take a
yeah,
shot
yeah,
or like you actually take just one pill?
one pill.
I did not know that was a thing to just take it once a week. I've been taking them motherfuckers daily, but
Oh,
they're only
no.
400s. Yeah,
No,
because
you
it says
usually
to.
take
It
them
says
like
take it
once a
one to.
week.
Yeah, it says on the bottle. It says 1 to 2 times a day, but it's only 400.
Oh,
And
400. Okay.
yeah,
I'm
but
like,
she wanted me to
damn,
take 5,000 a day. Yes, that's what
that's
her
a
message to me
lot.
said. Take 5,000 a day.
No, that's a lot. That's too much.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take 400 for 400, Alex.
Mm-mm. No. I'm also B12 deficient. So I take a shot. I shoot myself in the booty
Oh
every
no.
other Tuesday.
Do you feel it by now because you've been doing it for
Yeah.
however long?
Hmm.
Mm,
Oh yeah, like there's a big difference. I'm
yeah.
like, oh, I didn't realize I was supposed to have energy. Like I don't
Right,
really know what
girl.
that feels like sometimes. Like if it's like between, because it's not like consistently, but like I'll take it and then like I'll feel really good. And then I notice I'm like, "Ugh, I cannot function. I just want to sleep and do nothing else. So
Oh
it's like
no.
thick, which is why I'm like, I got to do something. So, but
Oh,
anyway,
I feel that.
but yeah, no, life is life and we're we're hanging in there.
We are hanging in there. We
Hanging
are
in.
hanging in there.
And we hope that you are hanging in there as well. We want you to be well and feel well. And
And have a good year.
yes, 2024, New Year, old me. It's the same one. I
It literally is. It literally is. And I really hate when people say new year, new me.
No,
Like, fuck
it's
off.
the same one. It's the same one. But no, we hope that you have a wonderful new year. We're gonna try to give you some more content on a semi-regular basis, hopefully. And we
Yes.
appreciate everyone who's hung in there with us. We love you. Mine's not gonna do it, but
Yes.
all the same hearts. Love you.
Yes.
And
Love you. Thank you for watching and listening.
yes, thank you so much. And we appreciate you. And catch us next time on social sanity or lack thereof. Shoot us an email.
Follow us
Or
on Instagram.
yes, on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching. We love you. Bye.
Thank you.